Welcome to the Craft Your Comeback Show. I'm your host, AJ MacQuarrie. Now, this is going to be a video series, maybe like a 5-part series leading up to launch day of my book. It's called Craft Your Comeback. August 17th, 2022, save the date. Now, we'll talk about why it's important to buy the book on that day in a minute, but let's just talk about the show, what the purpose is. So the show is going to cover basically everything and anything related to the book. So including key concepts, stories, uh, tips, other related information. And today I want to specifically talk a little bit about the book, why I wrote it, what you can get out of it. And I want to talk about the concept of crafting your comeback in more detail. Like, what does that mean? How do you craft your comeback? Why is there a whole book written about this? Before I do that, let me just introduce myself. My name's AJ MacQuarrie, and I like to tell people that I'm an entrepreneur who has been through it all. So, from the highs of being the CEO of a multi-million-dollar business, feeling on top of the world, feeling like, the best thing since sliced bread, to the lows of sitting in bankruptcy court and feeling like absolute garbage. And of course, everything in between, right? And at the core of who I am a marketer, a marketpreneur, if you will. And I like to combine marketing and sales. I have that as my main background. Those are my biggest strengths, with entrepreneurship. When it comes to like finance, like I'm not your guy, hence my bankruptcy. I'm working on getting better at that aspect of finance in life and in business for sure. I'm enrolled in an MBA program. I'll be starting this fall. So that was one of the reasons why I just want to get better at that sort of thing. Finance, operations, definitely there's some room for improvement there. So Craft Your Comeback, I started to write it back in 2016. And I mentioned this before, but I'll just talk about it a little bit again. I wrote it in 2016, and at the time, my life was very different. My business had just hit $1 million in sales in its first year. So I was super inspired and motivated to help other entrepreneurs follow their dreams. Because I love entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs, they're changing the world and they are the future. It's so rewarding, but it's also a lot of work. Let's be real. And you will inevitably encounter setbacks as an entrepreneur, unless you are really lucky, right? But there are definitely going to be setbacks that you're going to encounter and you're going to have to navigate through. So anyway, I was chipping away at the book, and just when I was wrapping up the first draft, my business at the time failed. I went bankrupt. So needless to say, the book was put on the shelf for a few years. I thought for sure that I was done writing a book, especially on entrepreneurship. And it took a few years. It took a lot of therapy, a lot of talking things out with family and friends, lots of processing, right? It was intense and it was a lot. And since I did think that the book was done and I couldn't be an author, I couldn't talk about business, I thought I lost all credibility with my book. That was my initial thought. But then I started thinking about things a little bit more, and I was reflecting, and I realized that actually this is even better of a story for the book. It's an even better angle. It can truly help people. Whereas the old material was more like, look at me, I built a 7-figure business, yay. And there's a lot of that crap out there. There's a lot of that, like, look at me, look at my jet, look at this, look at how wealthy I am. And don't get me wrong, that's awesome. That's important. It's inspiring. We need that. We all need that in many ways. But then when it comes to the other side of things, the failures, the setbacks, the heartaches, it's like crickets. Nobody's really talking about it. So I wanted to. I wanted to kind of get that and change that in a way, and just share my stories. And you know what? When I started to share my stories online and do videos and get things out there and just own up to my mistakes and my f ups and my setbacks, it actually helped me tremendously. Like, I ended up getting people who wanted to work with me, and I ended up signing some clients through my marketing agency. So there's some major power in vulnerability and being vulnerable. So it can be an effective tool, if you will, and an effective approach to grow your business. I truly believe that. So yeah, I wanted to talk about my setbacks, get it out there and normalize it a bit more and make it not so uncomfortable and awkward, because each and every one of my setbacks helped me in immense ways. It helped me grow, it helped me learn, it helped me become better. There are always so many lessons in setbacks. And when you can find them and give your setbacks purpose, you are going to do so well in life. And that's ultimately what Craft Your Comeback is all about. That's why I wanted to get the book out there. Now, my editor, a week or two ago, the book is being edited as we speak. And my editor, Robert, messages me and he's like, wow, you are bearing your soul in this book. I was just like, I know, I'm so freaking nervous. So I really hope you all check it out. I really hope you all pick up a copy. It's a nonfiction book. It's about my journey on this epic roller coaster ride of life and in business. And it's ultimately about my setbacks and how I learned from them and made the most out of them. So it's like a balance between my story, but also like actionable tips and steps for you to overcome your setbacks and hurdles in life. Because when you do that, look, you're going to be unstoppable. You are going to be a force like of nature just coming through. And I really hope that as the reader, you're going to be able to learn this new perspective and navigate your own setbacks. Because when we don't address them properly, when we don't address our setbacks, they're so toxic and so poisonous in our lives. I truly believe that's why we have a lot of addicts out there and we have a lot of people out there who are struggling and not doing well in life and just being very mediocre and average, because their setbacks just eat away at them and tear them down, and they don't use them as fuel to propel themselves forward. People, they often ask like how I've handled my setbacks so well in life at an early age, and how I've been able to just not be okay, but like flourish in life and have joy and kind of move on and move forward. And I'll just say, I believe first and foremost, it's because I have to acknowledge that I have an amazing support system in my life, and not everybody has that. So that is a huge advantage to me. I have wonderfully loving and kind and non-judgmental family members that have never pressured me in my life. I have amazing friends who are like family to me, and they are all beautiful people. I also go to therapy regularly. I believe that has helped me tremendously overcome my setbacks for sure. So I feel like I'm going on this tangent of like, yeah, setbacks, and I gave them purpose, and yes, and I did, and that's a big part of what the book's about. But I also want to acknowledge that I have this other advantage that I understand that a lot of people don't actually have. So I do want to say that out there. Um, there are three main concepts that I talk about in the book. And they're concepts that I didn't even realize that I had a process. I didn't even realize they were concepts until a few years ago, when my car at the time got smashed horribly, which you'll learn about. And the three main concepts in the book, the first one's called the 3 Fs. So it's breaking down and categorizing setbacks and labeling them, failure, flukes, or F-ups. So that is one of the main concepts. Because at the end of the day, look, we love categorizing things, whether we like it or not. We put everything in labels and boxes. It's how our brain works, I guess, as humans. I don't know. So I categorize setbacks into the 3 Fs, and it's important to categorize them because you're going to respond differently depending on what category they're in. The other concept's called the comeback pill. This is a formula. PILL is the acronym, and it stands for pain, impact, lessons, and let it go. And this is a process that will hopefully help you feel better after you encounter your setbacks. I do share it with friends and family sometimes, and they have told me it helps them a lot. So I think, all of these concepts work for me. I think and I hope that they will work for you as well. And then the third concept is called Plan B, and it's another kind of formula that spells out do it, and it's basically a last resort if the comeback pill doesn't kick in, if you will. And do it stands for delusional optimism equals if then. And we're going to get into this. Actually, we're going to get into this in a free training session that's coming up in a couple weeks that is diving deep into these three concepts. So the training sessions will happen. There'll be a couple of them between now and the 17th of August. So we're going to dive deep into those concepts. I hope you will join. I will have more information about that. So I also want to reveal the book cover today. But before I do that, I want to say one more thing. On August 17th, that is the launch date, okay? And if you purchase the book on that day, you are going to get full access to the Keep Going Academy, which is a $97 value. You're going to get full access to that workshop for free if you purchase the book on August 17th. So save the dates, August 17th. This is a workshop. It's going to dive deep into the whole concept. It includes a workbook. It's really good stuff. So if you buy the book on August 17th, you are going to get access to the Keep Going Academy. It includes a workshop. I highly recommend you at least consider this. And I'll just be totally transparent with y'all because I like y'all. I'm assuming I like y'all if you're watching this. We are the purpose of this is I'm kind of pull the curtain behind here and show you kind of the back end a little bit. So first of all, I read an amazing book by Jeff Walker called Launch. So Launch is about basically he teaches you step by step how to launch a online course or book or anything really. He says that any online business, but a lot of people read his book and they launch their book. They launch their own books after reading his book. So I've been trying to follow his formula. So that is one of the reasons why I'm doing this content. I'm getting this content out there and I want to teach concepts and I'm doing this training session. So I've been kind of doing that in the back end. And then another reason why I'm really pushing August 17th is because I would love to get on the Amazon bestseller list. Now that is kind of just ego and that sort of thing, but I would love to get on the Amazon bestseller list and become a #1 bestseller. So that's the ultimate goal here. So that's why I'm pushing August 17th. If you could please purchase the book then, I will really appreciate it. And I'll be very transparent with you all throughout the process and how it's going and what, if I even made it on the list and that sort of thing. So yeah, that is that. Now, okay, let's talk about the book cover. So I posted 4 book cover options and I had my mind made up. Okay, I was like so certain what book cover it was going to be. It was #1. We can pull up the options. #1, I was set on it. I was totally on board with it. And then you all gave amazing feedback. I posted it on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and then I posted it on a couple forums on Facebook. And overwhelmingly, it was everything but #1. It was a lot of them were 3s and 4s, but also 2s. I got a lot of 2s, which is the kintsugi concept. 1 was also the kintsugi concept, but it was more abstract. And kintsugi is basically, it's a Japanese art where you put together broken pieces of pottery using gold. So the whole concept is if something breaks, you put it back together and you make it even more valuable because it's with gold. And it's a beautiful art, kintsugi. Check that out if you're not familiar with it. So yeah, I was basically in this position of I was set on #1, then I got everybody's feedback. Y'all said basically no on #1. And I was like, okay, so I decided it was either between 1 or 2 to begin with. And I was set on 1 after everybody's feedback. I am officially going with this one. This is the cover. It's #2. I appreciate everybody's feedback. The reason why I'm not going with 3 and 4, because if you pick 3 and 4 and you're like, oh man, well, it's because I just don't like those concepts. I think they look really good. I really like #4. I was going to go for that at first when I first saw it. But then when I was thinking about the concepts and the origami and the paper planes, like, yeah, I could tie it into crafting your comeback, but I just wasn't a huge fan of the concept. So for that reason, I decided to go with number 2. That's the official book cover. I am going to use number 1 for the Keep Going Academy. So it's still going to be there. I'm still going to use it, but it's going to be used for the Keep Going Academy workbook. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to come on here. This is the first episode. Just kind of wanted to chat with y'all, say hello. I am really excited about the book. I'm really nervous. I appreciate everybody's feedback like so much. I really wasn't sure how this would go. I kept delaying and delaying and delaying and finding excuse after excuse. And it just wasn't cool. I needed to finally get it out there and do it. And here I am with you doing this, craft your comeback. I'm excited. I'm also very nervous. Like I said earlier, my editor is saying you're bearing your soul in this book, and I really am. But that's okay. It's gonna happen. I'm already thinking about my next book. Call me crazy, but yeah, I'm really excited. I really appreciate everybody's love and support, and I am looking forward to seeing this. The next few weeks. I want to remind you that the Craft Your Comeback training session will be happening. I highly encourage you to attend. It'll be about 20 minutes or so. It's not going to be very long. It's going to be live. It's going to be a webinar. And I would love for you to come. I will be announcing that and putting all of that stuff in. You know me. I I need to stop just doing social media when I have stuff to announce and show. I should be more active. I need to be better at social media. It's something I'm working on. But yeah, anyway, I hope you are all doing well. Thank you so much. This is the first episode. We're going to have another episode coming up in a week or two. So we'll have about 5 of these total, just me coming on here chatting with you. And I look forward to, yeah, I look forward to August 17th. Things go. Have a nice day, everybody. Remember, wherever you're at in life, you're doing so well. And we need to give ourselves more credit for things. We're often so hard on ourselves. I'm often very hard on myself too. And we need to be kind to ourselves. We need to give ourselves more credit because we're all trying. And if you're not trying, well, you can try. Go ahead. I appreciate everybody. Remember, wherever you're at in life, just keep going, okay? Thank you so much.